Well, we have no batteries. It's upload video day, so I was middle of uploading a video, and the impeller belt on the generator burnt. Now we're using our start battery to run the inverter and Starlink to see if we can get the upload done before the battery dies. We've turned everything off we can. Oh! And the upload is complete.
Yeah, you guys get a video tomorrow.
You get a video tomorrow. Yay. So now I can turn off the inverter. Let's check our battery. It's bad. We can power the anchor light all night long and possibly the bilge pump if it needs it. That's it. And with that, let's start the show.
We've sprung a leak. Flow is taking on water.
Oh my goodness, it's good to be back.
Welcome back.
We're back.
It is good to be back.
Hey everybody, we are back. We're back. Oh, that's good.
It's been so long now, I think we've almost forgotten how to do this.
Yeah. It has been what, this 3 weeks. Ugh.
3 weeks. It feels like it's been even longer than that.
Yeah, it really does.
First off, we want to give a shout out to our newest patron, RB. Thank you so much for stepping up to support us in a bigger way, and here's to you. We broke out the cookie dough whiskey for this one, so.
The cookie dough whiskey provided by a patron.
Provided by a patron.
Right?
That's right.
So, you know who you are. So, what happened to us?
What happened to us?
What happened to
Where
us?
have we been? We disappeared. We've disappeared for 3 weeks now, and we've had a lot of you guys reaching out to check on us, and thank you so much for that. Well, here we are. We're still alive. We're still around, and we are going to get into where we've been and what we've been up to, but we're going to get to that later.
At the end of this, we will go over all of that. But let's just pick up where we left off eons ago with Key Largo. Still waking up. Well, we got into Key Largo last night. Not super late. We tried to get in before dark. But you guys know that never works for us. So once again, anchored in the dark. We're getting pretty good at it, apparently. But it's just hard to shoot in the dark. Yeah, so we're here. We're in Key Largo. This is Rodriguez Key right here. She's going to, or he's, I don't know, is land a gender? No. Land's an it. It's going to provide us, hopefully, with shelter for the gale that is coming. We got to Key Largo just in time for a gale. But the sun is about to come up on our first day in Key Largo.
Well, one of the reasons that we stopped where we stopped in Key Largo was because we knew we were going to be waiting out some weather, as is so frequently the case. And so Cade found the most kind of protected area behind a little island that we could just anchor out and just wait out the weather. So we're sitting in Key Largo right now waiting out this blow. It's supposed to take a couple of days, and we can't really do anything but just kind of sit on the boat and watch the anchor and wait it out. It's kind of hard to go downstairs right now because when we do, we kind of feel a little bit green around the gills. So we're spending as much time as we can upstairs in the cockpit which is not so bad, but we're kind of being tossed around a fair amount. And this is all we can do is just wait.
Got some strong winds and some rain now. Good morning. So as you can tell, it's very windy out right now. The sun is coming up over there, but we have this really cool fire in the sky over here. Right, almost like there should be a sun setting there and rising there. Really an interesting thing. We were the only ones on the south side of Rodriguez Key, and it didn't provide any wind protection, but provided a lot of wave protection. And we thought, well, we're just the only ones out here.
Yeah, it looked like it was a really deserted area. Like, we didn't think anybody was even in Key Largo. We didn't see any other boats.
And as soon as the blow was done, we took the dinghy. We were a long way from shore, so we took a long way from a public dinghy dock. So we took the dinghy to the other side of Rodriguez Key where the dinghy dock was. All the boats are anchored over there.
Yeah, on the north side of Rodriguez Key.
All of the fetch, all of the waves, all of the brutality of this blow on the other side. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was closer to the little public dinghy access area, so maybe that had something to do with it. It was closer to amenities. It's hard to convey in the video, but we did rock around quite a bit. And I think I mentioned it was uncomfortable for us to go downstairs just because it kind of made us feel a little bit seasick. Even though we were sitting there at anchor, it was pretty uncomfortable.
So I thought it was flow, but hunters, and right now there's like 3 or 4 hunters of comparable size, 42s, 38s around us. And all of the boats on the mooring balls will be like this, and the hunters will be doing this. All of them. And we'll do it together. It's crazy.
That's pretty crazy. And it's good to know that we're not the only ones. It's like, it's a club. It's a club. The hunters march to the beat of their own drum.
Right? It's a swingers club.
Oh! I'll give it to you.
I think it has to do with the placement of the mast and the keel and the center of gravity. But yeah, we go back and forth a lot. It seems like all hunters do. So when we get a good blow, she's a wiggler.
She's a wiggler.
Put the channel marker on the right also. Just kind of turn around a little bit.
Yeah.
But you can get your little osprey nest. So one of the downsides to Key Largo is that there is very limited cruiser access. There's not big public free dinghy docks. I'm sure there's marinas you can pay for it. Yeah, so the only dinghy public area we found was the old Mandalay restaurant site.
There's not a restaurant there anymore.
It's all gone.
But there is a public access. It's not even a dock.
Not even a
not
beach.
A boat
it's just
ramp.
an area.
It's just an area, but that's where the channel markers go up to. So that is a public area where you can tie out, and there were several dinghies out there. But Key Largo as a whole, and we have heard this before we came in, it is not set up really well for cruisers.
Capture me putting on my socks and shoes.
Yeah, the length that we go to just go onto land.
Right. So this is the site of the old Mandalay restaurant in Key Largo, and kind of the only public
dinghy dock. This is not a dinghy dock, but this is an area that's public access, and you can see there's several dinghies out there. So this is where we tied up. We threw a little anchor off to the rocks. I did also tie the painter to the mangroves very gently. And you can see it's kind of an industrial area. This is literally not what we expected out of Key Largo. What do you think?
Well, we haven't seen much of it yet. We took the dogs walking on land yesterday and kind of scouted out the area. So this morning we left the dogs on the boat. They're going to spend the day being lazy, and we're going to get out and do a little bit of exploring. Hopefully swing by a grocery store and get some groceries.
Yay! So we're walking by a small marina here. And of course out front they have marina trash. This looks like a sail and a mast. It's just a piece of wood, but
yeah, somebody fashioned it into a whole mast.
yes, somebody made a sail out of that. So we're going into shell world, as you can see. They have big shells.
Key Largo is not what we expected, and that's partially us just not doing our homework.
Well, you hear about it in the Beach Boys song.
And you think it's going to be this kind of big resort, fancy, really glamorous locale, and it's really not. It's very low-key, unpretentious, kind of has a trashy chic vibe. Which I kind of love. I love it for what it is. It's a fun little low-key, quiet, relaxing island. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, it's just perfect.
There's no mega resorts. There are hotels and motels of varying degrees of quality and budget. It has something for everyone. You're going to hear us complain a little bit about our situation and our luck, and just in general sound whiny during this video. But here's the truth of the matter. It was November, and we're walking around, and the flowers are blooming, and it's green, and it's sunny. If you want a snorkeling or scuba diving vacation in the Keys in the winter when it's cold where you may be, put this on your list. It is much more budget friendly than Key West. It has lots of outdoor stuff to offer.
And of course, the fantastic weather that you're going to find in the Florida Keys. You're still going to see the iguanas and the chickens everywhere. And I was going to say something. Oh, and the whole island you can pretty much explore on foot. It's not very big.
Yeah. So, did you already eat your shrimp?
No, I didn't. It's still down in there.
Where's your shrimp?
Oh, did it fall off? Maybe
No, here it is, right there. Perfect. We're trying really hard to not be on a schedule. That's one of the reasons we're doing this. Unfortunately, when we were in Key Biscayne, we finally lost the last 2 batteries. No power at all. So we were down to our start battery, and I was working with the battery manufacturers on what was wrong and how to warranty replace them because they were under warranty.
And truly, guys, we spent We did spend way too much time trying to get these batteries to come back online. We were seeing some really positive signs for a long time, and it looked like they were trying to come back, and so we were really rooting for them to come back and for us to not have to replace them because we really do like the batteries. And we thought they would, and they just never did.
Additionally, it was the logistics, right? We needed these batteries to work. We weren't in a position where we can just go to the store and get more batteries.
Right.
So finally, the manufacturer agrees these need to be replaced. We have to mail them back to China. They were going to refund our money. So the process is mail the batteries back to China. When they get the batteries, they will mail us a check. We wanted to stay in Key Largo and do some snorkeling. There's a lot of reefs out there. Some of the reefs have mooring balls that you can go grab for free for a day because you're not allowed to anchor at these reefs. There is an excellent dive spot called Christ of the Abyss. It's a giant Jesus statue underwater that you can snorkel. And they have mooring balls there, so you can moor and then snorkel on Christ underwater. Kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
There was another blow coming. We weathered one. There was another one coming. We had no power at all. Our generator has an issue with its pulley that it eats belts. As you can see, we have to take apart a whole lot of floor, and then we have to pull this exhaust pipe out of the way just to get to the cover of the belt to get at the belts. And here's the problem we're having. You can see the belts are just shredding, right? It's like this heavy powder of rubber. So this is a new belt, and you can see how loose it is now. It was tight. Maybe this shifted a little. This pulley is pitted. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it is. It's very rough. So it's like a file. It's sanding down the belts. It's rusted and pitted, and I've tried to polish it and clean it. And I've done a fairly decent job. We can get like 10 hours out of a belt, but we can't keep doing that. So we run the generator like 30 minutes a night to try and keep a freezer going or keep a refrigerator going. But it's been very, very rough. So we were fed up with that. We weren't waiting around. We have friends in Marathon with a car who can help us get these 4 batteries to a FedEx and ship them out. So we rushed down to Marathon. All right, well, we are on the way from Key Largo to Marathon. There's a little bit of swell out here, but it's not bad at all. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's a pretty decent day for sailing. We got a little bit of wind. It's a nice broad reach. We're doing about 4.5 knots, no engine. So, yeah, we should get into Marathon sometime this evening. The first night in Marathon, we spent in the Little Sister Harbor or
Sister Bay or something
Sister
like
Island.
We'll
it's right here.
Yeah.
It's right down. Wait, it's right down. This we spent the night here. Little Sister, don't you, Bay? Was that a mistake?
Oh, yeah. Took me a minute to catch up. Yes, that was
Bad.
a mistake. That was a mistake. We debated on continuing around to the other side and anchoring out, but we would have had to go on another hour or so. It was starting to get dark. We really wanted to anchor with some light in the sky. We didn't want to be doing it after dark again.
So many lobster pots. So many crab pots. I don't know what kind of pots they are. The little buoy balls that have rope that will mess your prop up.
Yeah.
So many. And so as the sun set, we were like, forget this. Stop.
Yeah, we needed to. For the safety of the boat and for our sanity, we wanted to go ahead and stop for the night. And this is a designated anchorage, and so we thought we'd be reasonably safe and secure there. But the wind was coming straight into the bay.
And blowing offshore waves and offshore swell.
Yes, and there was
straight
no
into the bay.
protection from that. So we did end up dragging a fair amount.
Holy cow.
We couldn't really get any reasonable sleep because, we were having to continually check on the anchor, and the boat was rolling around so much it was really uncomfortable all night. But we made it through the night and didn't drag too much. We were still in a good depth, and pulled anchor the next morning and headed on around.
She says we didn't drag too much. On 3 separate occasions throughout the night, we drug over 200 feet.
Yeah, we did drag a lot. It was the most we've ever dragged on our anchor before.
So the next morning, the plan was to go around to the other side, the Gulf side of Marathon, and anchor up right in front of our friends. And they were going to help us get these batteries gone. And then we wait for several weeks till the money comes in to buy new batteries. Halfway through that process, this happened. Okay, so we are in Marathon now. We are headed into Boot Key for the city. Let me get over here and out of the sun. So we've made it to Marathon, but we've sprung a leak. Flow is taking on water. So right now the bilge pump is going off about once a minute. That's not good. As you can see, the engine's water pump is blowing a lot of water, so we're going to have to rebuild that. So we are going to pull into Marathon City Marina inside Boot Key and grab a mooring ball. Can't afford it, but we're going to do it anyway because we obviously can't continue if the engine is going to keep spraying water inside the engine compartment. We'll need to clean all that out. Probably rebuild that pump or have it rebuilt or replaced. We'll see. I think we might have a spare on board, but I'll have to replace it either way. I'll have to take it off either way. So hopefully we can get into the mooring before the engine gets too hot. I think it's still flowing water. It's just leaking at the bearing seal. So we'll see what we can do. What do you think, Mesha? Flow's taking on water.
I guess I'm not surprised. I don't know. We've been through so much at this point that it's just another thing. Like, okay, we're taking on water. We are close to land, and we're close to our anchorage where we kind of planned on being anyway. So in that regard, it's a good thing. It didn't happen to us while we were offshore. We're pretty close to where we need to be anyway. So as long as we keep a good eye on the temperature, I think we'll be okay. I don't like running it like this, obviously, but we got to get into our anchorage or get to our mooring ball to get it fixed. So
there you go. We got the batteries off the boat and mailed away. And now we are just waiting on our money.
That was a huge step for us. Finally admitting defeat, I guess, with the batteries and coordinating and getting them off the boat. That in itself is a big relief because now we're moving on and there's no more will it, won't it work. We can just get new batteries.
Right. So let's talk about the state of affairs at For Love of Wind.
Let's do this.
So first of all, current situation. One of our patrons generously helped us in getting at least one house battery going while we're waiting on this money. It's a significant amount of money that we're getting returned for these batteries. Lithiums are not cheap. And so one of our patrons generously helped out so that we could at least get one house battery. It will be delivered the day after you watch this. And we're so excited about that. It's been weeks of no power. Let me tell you about a standard day for us here at Flow. Sunrise right now, I believe, is at like 6:45. So I get up about 6:30 every morning to watch sunrise. Sunrise about 6:45, 6:35, 6:50, somewhere in that. Mesha joins me shortly thereafter. She comes and sits in the cockpit, and we kind of plan our day. By about 7:45, maybe 8 o'clock, we're now making enough solar, provided the sky is clear, to turn the freezer on. Right? We have just the one start battery. It ran all night long, keeping the anchor light on. So the freezer's now on about 7:45, maybe 8 o'clock. By about 8:30, 8:45, we're now making enough power that we can turn the refrigerator on. So far, the freezer has remained frozen. It does a pretty decent job. It's big. We have a couple of bottles of water in there that turn to ice throughout the day, and they keep the place frozen. We haven't had thawed meat or anything like that. The refrigerator is smaller, and with a smaller unit becomes more surface area per volume. And so it's typically about 50 degrees in the morning.
A little on the warm side, which does make our food tend to not keep quite as long.
So we have to go grocery shopping a little more often. But so by about 8:45, 9 o'clock, which is when we start having breakfast, about 8:45, fridge and freezer running. We'll make breakfast. If it's gonna be a sunny day, by about 9:30 or 10, we can turn on the inverter. And this depends on the direction the wind is blowing. If the wind is blowing out of the south, southeast, southwest, It puts the solar panels on the back side of the boat. Being winter, the sun is low to the south, so the radar mast and our main mast cast shadows on the solar, so we can't get the inverter on until like 10 or 10:30. But at that point, we are fully powered. We've run the rice maker on sunny days and things like that. So about 3:30 or 4 o'clock, the inverter has to go off. That's the end of internet. That's the end of power. Sunset is about 5:30, so about 4:30, fridge and freeze have to go off. And that's because by about 4:30, they are now drawing down the one itty-bitty start battery that we have. So at 4:30, those get kicked off. And at that point, mega power restrictions on flow. Don't turn on the lights if you don't have to. We fill a pitcher of water and don't run the water pump unless you have to. Hand pump toilet.
Yeah, we have resorted to using a headlamp or a solar rechargeable little lantern at night after the sun goes down. And that's what we use for light. If we're cooking down here, if we have to take care of the dogs, use the bathroom or whatever.
We have a lot of rechargeable lanterns and the solar and just straight rechargeable lanterns. And so during the day, everything gets plugged in. When we turn that inverter on, everything gets plugged in. We're charging laptops, we're charging fans and lights and lanterns and backup batteries for our cell phones that we can plug the cell phone into. About 8 o'clock at night, it's time for dinner. We will turn the generator on and then turn everything back on for about an hour, around 8:30, from between 8:30 and 9:30. And that's one last cold cycle for the fridge and freezer, and one last charge cycle for the start battery. We carried a couple of spares of belts on board for that purpose because the generator eats belts. It needs a new pulley. I'm getting a new pulley, or I'm going to try and source a new pulley. But here, the last couple of weeks, we were just out of belts, and we were out of funds to go buy belts. It was not conducive. So no more microwave in the evenings, cold dinners, leftovers, and milking that start battery for everything she's worth. The other day, the bilge pump surprised us and tried to go off in the middle of the night. We didn't have the power for that. It's a float switch. It floated up. It turned on the bilge pump, but it didn't have the power to push water out. The battery was low. I woke up at 3 o'clock. I don't know how long it had been trying. I woke up at 3 o'clock to take Penny out to pee. Bilge pump's trying to go off. Anchor light's dead. Bilge pump has just got to glow. So I managed to, I had to literally disconnect the wiring for the bilge pump because that float switch is trying to set it off. Disconnected that bilge pump, and then I put our little jump starter on the battery briefly. And when I say the bilge pump ran this battery down, it was at 5.5 volts when I woke up at 3 a.m. So I put our little jump starter on it and bumped it up to 9 volts, which got the...
Still not good.
Still not good. Right? That's the improved version. This is all happening at 3 o'clock in the morning, right? I'm running around with this red headlamp on my head. And Mesha, ever the amazing first mate, would every 5 minutes do this. Are you good? Okay.
Yeah,
She wouldn't even wait for a response. I can help if you need me. That was it. I got the anchor light back on, which we're in a mooring field. Half the boats don't have it on. Probably could get away with not turning it on. Not a big deal. Solar brought that battery up. But yeah, that's our day-to-day.
But Cade, tell us why, when we're connected to power during the daytime and we have our computers accessible to us, why have we not been editing videos?
So, through all of this, the coffer, the cash, our coin purse.
It's been turned upside down and poured out.
Yes, right.
Down into the bilge.
So the coin purse is empty. So yeah, the videos haven't happened for the last 3 weeks for a couple of reasons. In small part, we were bitter about the whole situation. We couldn't catch it. We haven't been able to catch a break for a year.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, it was really hard for us for a little while to stay motivated, and we apologize to you guys for that because you guys deserve better. But yeah, we were kind of in a funk, and nothing was really going right, and then having to put ourselves on a mooring ball to address the batteries and the water pump was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. Literally, that put us right at the end of our budget.
Yeah. We were angry. We were depressed.
We needed to take some time to regroup and rethink and renew, I guess.
And at that point, so we weren't just like, we're out. When that happened, we were like, you know what? This is not working. Back to the workforce we go. So we have been scrambling for jobs, doing interviews, trying to get hired. We're looking really desperately for remote work so that we can continue the journey. But unfortunately, we're trying to get hired at the wrong stinking time for remote for anybody, not remote work, just for anybody, right?
This is the end of the year,
yeah,
the holiday season.
They're saving on their budgets, right? It's at the beginning of the year when you get new budgets and new times. So some good promising leads, some interviews, some things that haven't panned out. It is what it is. But in the very limited time we've had for power, that is how we have spent our time.
Yeah, and that has not been by choice. That's just what we've had to do. Of course, anytime you apply for something, you kind of have to tweak your resume to be more applicable to that particular job. And then they want you to do a bunch of online tests and things like that to assess your skills. And
you're doing video chats to
recruiters,
and to companies for interviews.
So there's been a lot that has been taking our energy,
focus.
not just our personal energy, but literally the energy we have on the boat. That's really all we have had time to do, and that is necessary at this point. We can't continue.
And that's on sunny days, because on cloudy days, just fridge and freeze is what we get.
Yes. We had many a day just kind of twiddling our thumbs because we really can't do anything. Yeah. So
what does this mean for Flow moving forward? Well, in the near term, we are going to be getting back to videos. We are not going to leave Marathon until we have at least decent power. That's important. I want to be able to keep the refrigerator and the freezer on overnight. And I'd like to be able to run the Starlink sun up to sundown. Not when we're making enough power, but like I can turn it on at sun up, and then the solar will compensate, and I can turn it off at sundown. That is Starlink, sun up to sundown, and fridge and freeze overnight. I don't feel like those are weird requests, right?
I don't know. I feel like now that's a luxury.
That is a luxury.
Refrigeration that lasts 24 hours a day. Oh my goodness.
Well, whatever, right? We're living like the Amish right now. I love you guys, but
we can't heft ice blocks onto the boat every day.
Right. So it has been like the camping in a fiberglass tent.
It has been camping for us, yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting back into videos. There may not be as much travel in the near term as we would like. We missed you guys, and we've so I will tell you, one of the big things. This is for all of you. One of the big things that got us out of our funk was the massive outpouring, both from patrons and subscribers, of why in the heck aren't you doing something? Right? We felt missed.
Okay.
And
really
yeah.
wonderful.
So we're gonna do what we have to do to keep the train going. It's derailed. It's headed towards another train. It's gonna be a catastrophic train wreck. If you would like front row seats to our train wreck, hit that like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell. It's only going to go a direction from here. Is that a fair statement?
Yes. It
Okay.
is.
Up or down, it's only going to go
True.
a direction. Anyway, so that's the update. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're interested in our journey. If you want more information about anything that we've gone through, we love actually sharing that. If you have questions, comments, prophecies, tongues, bring it. We thank you so much. You are the guys that keep us emotionally alive. So we couldn't, I'd like to say we couldn't do it without you. We literally, I'm sure lots of channels say that. We literally couldn't do it without you. We would have quit long ago. But we're not going to quit. We're retarded.
I don't think you can say that.
Okay. We're not going to quit. We're idiots.
We're idiots. Yep, I'd say that's about right. And for a while there, we kind of forgot how much we really do enjoy putting the videos together and putting them out there. We have missed that, and so we're getting back to it. We're kind of picking ourselves up by our bootstraps and getting back in the game. We have spent a lot of our time kind of strategizing for moving forward and how we're going to do things and what we're going to do differently and what our lives are going to look like.
When you have no power, even in the middle of the day, the thing you do is figure out how to change your situation. So there is a lot of plans in the works. There is a lot of things coming.
And there may be some big changes in store for Love of Wind, which we can't talk about that yet because we haven't finalized any plans. But stay tuned because things are about to get crazy.
So, step 1, fridge and freeze that last 24 hours a day. Let's make that happen.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Oh boy, we better stop that before it gets too heavy. I think we can have it.
Oh, there we go.